Welcome to the Slamming Door Sessions, a reality creation podcast where we slam the door to anything that is not our ideal. With your amazing hosts, Kristen M.F. Clark and authentic Cintia Sena Sarravache. Join us in a radical embodiment of our ideal states. Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Slamming Door Sessions podcast. My name is Cintia, currently playing with Wealthy Woman Cintia, and I am here with Kristen and Clark. Thank you so much for being here with us again. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on notifications, comment, and do all the wonderful things to support our podcast. And
Yay.
Without further ado, let's introduce the subject for this week, for this episode. So it's going to be me this time. Usually it's Kristen. But this week I was inspired, or basically there's been this recurrent subject this week about being fearless. And I suggested the topic to Kristen. She was like, oh my God, this happened to me this week too. Like, it's been relevant this week.
Huge.
So yeah. Just because I'm curious, I want to know. I want to listen Kristen tell me her story because I don't know anything. So I just want to know.
Oh, I tell you, I love our whole old man, new man, where you're burying the old man. And this week it was kind of like, do we ever really bury the old man? Or do things constantly arise from the old state that, you throw that in the hole too? So this week, I don't know if I told you this. Okay, so as a lot of you guys know, I was getting ready for a half marathon. And we were discussing before about, how many kilometers that is. And I forgot.
Me too.
We'll have to ask Siri how many, because a half marathon is about 13 and a half miles. So I believe is that a 30K, 25K? Anyway, it's a long distance. So I've been training. And recently, a couple of weeks ago or last week, I don't even remember, time is so crazy. I was doing my run, and my knee started hurting, which is kind of, par for the course sometimes, especially, life. And when you're heavier and you're not as light as you could be. And so this whole week I've been taking it easy. I've been doing other things, weightlifting, as we were just talking. And Thursday I decided, I'm gonna, I'm ready. I can go for a run. And as I started heading out for the run, my knee was hurting and I just kind of ignored it. And on the way downhill, it got bad enough that I was like, ooh, wait, what's going on? And with the very next step, something popped. And stopped me and almost dropped me. And I was like, oh, and I'm like going, who's watching? And so I'm trying to carry it off, can't walk, I'm limping. And I'm like, now I'm scared. And I'm like going, oh shit. And the whole run I was in isn't it wonderful? Is it wonderful? It tends to be my mantra. And I'm like going, oh no, what's going on? What's happening here? And I'm just like, I don't know what happened, but there's something wonderful in this, right? There's something wonderful in this. So by the time I walked, limped, crawled all the way back home, I knew I had done something bad, something really bad. Now, my other knee, I've actually had 2 surgeries on. So so here comes an old fear, right? Here comes something big and old and, and I'm like, I can't have surgery. I can't do this. So all that old shit's coming up. And I kept hearing you going, would KMFC do this? How would KMFC participate here? And I'm like going, I really don't know. I know she'd be more fearless though. I know she'd be taking all this fear that's coming up and going, okay, you go in the hole too. Okay, you go in the hole too. So I'm like racking my brains. What do I do to fix this? This is a problem. What do I do to fix this so I can get back to who I am, And right away I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This whole thing has gotten a little out of hand. So I just am like, okay, just go about your day. Go get a brace for your knee and just go about your day, and what will be, will be. And it's always that right there. It's that, hey, whatever happens, happens. Here's my desire. My desire is that everything's fine. I'm going to wake up and I'm trying to revise it. I'm trying to do all the tricks we know, and ain't nothing working. And I'm like, okay, so it's not working, not because I'm doing it wrong. It's not working because there's something here. There's something here that down the line I'm going to go, oh my God, that was the best thing ever that happened. And whatever happens, happens. So I get a brace and I continue about my life. And as of Thursday, walking was impossible. Could not walk. But I'm still in this 75 hard challenge. You have to work out every day. So I'm trying to do a floor workout. I'm doing all this floor, and every once in a while it's like, ow, okay, I'm good. Just keep going, just keep plowing, just keep going. And then yesterday, one of my helpers shows up, and we've got to clean the whole property. So I'm out there with the brace on, and I'm in agony the whole time. And then I forgot this. I had ordered a different brace for my knee. And after my friend left and I was sitting here in the house going, oh, that was the most god-awful 6 hours of my life. I hear Amazon come to the front door, and I'm like, oh, I can't get up and go to the door, but okay. And I make my way over there, and there's this new brace. And I'm like, I remembered looking at it, but I didn't remember ordering it. I didn't remember ordering it at all. And so I took off the other brace that I had, which was this big, bulky, gnarly thing with hinges on the side and everything. And this thing was like a sock, and it was really cool. I love it. But anyway, so I put it on, and immediately I felt better. Immediately. It was just like, oh, and I got up and I was able to walk around and make food and do things. And later on, I took it off to so I can get in the jacuzzi and stuff, because why not? And I'm doing a few things. I'm getting some water and everything. And all of a sudden I realize I'm walking normal. I'm not limping. I'm not dragging the leg. I'm walking. And I'm going, what the hell? And I'm like, why say what the hell? Just say yippee. And it's just, it's not 100, I'm back here with the sock on and the leg is raised and everything. But moving into that space with full acceptance, instead of going, wow, how did I do this? And clinging on to it and going, okay, I got to keep whatever I did. I got to keep holding it. Just letting whatever magic is flowing around me just flow, and going, okay, if I go back into absolute tiered pain, whatever, whatever's here. I can't do the marathon now. I've already called and canceled, but being in the space of going, I can either really go crazy into the fear of, what did I do? What's the future going to be like? And how do I fix this? And there's so much need in that, right? It's so huge. Whereas like before, when I revised my wallet to just show up out of thin air, it was like, if it shows, it shows. If it doesn't, it doesn't, whatever. And last night, before I took the sock off and everything seemed to be like perfectly fine, I was like, whatever happens, happens. If it magically fixes and revises and everything's fine. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And then of course, so all of a sudden I find myself walking around normal and everything. And I'm like, oh, that was the key, and it's like, stop. stop with, there's the key, there's the answer to the universe, and then but anyway, so for this whole week, old fear stuff, like physical, real, not just fear thoughts, but fear actuals are cropping up, right? They're just cropping up. And it's like, wow, this is really an old me, like getting a phone call and going, God, this is old shit I haven't experienced in 20 years. And, last time I had knee issues where I'm walking around on crutches and stuff, that was 2009. And so this is just actually, no, I'm sorry. That was 1999, long time ago. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not kidding when I'm like, old stuff is arising. And it's very interesting, to kind of go, okay, so what's going on? And so I kind of went back to the old 3 things that Candace taught us, where it's self-observation, and then choosing your, what you want, and then detachment. I can't remember what they're exactly
the 3
called.
fundamentals.
Yes. Yeah. And so I've kind of been playing there, and that's lightened the load each time. Each time it's been lightening, because, me, KAC, loves to fix, whereas KMFC just leapfrogs over the whole fixing thing and just goes straight to the everything is good. And so it's been interesting, because it really revolves around fear. It very much revolves around fear. And fixing and eradicating the fear, instead of just going, oh, I see you, go in the hole with this guy. Anyway, so I'm interested in what you would say about all of that.
Such great topics and such great ideas that you're sharing, because the first thing that I understood from what you were saying is how we attach our sense of worth to whether or not we manifest something instantly, or if we manifest something, the fear comes that if I lose it, somehow I am not this great manifester anymore, And yeah.
Ooh, that was good.
I know, right?
Guys, by the way, this is why Cynthia is an amazing coach.
Oh, thank you. So that is the first thing. And then this fear and what you said, like we try to run from the fear. It's like, I don't want to see this fear. This fear is here, and I need to do something to make it disappear. It doesn't belong here. It shouldn't be here. And it's this, that's what we could call resistance, right? We are resisting. Yeah. We are trying not to feel the fear. Like, this fear is wrong. This fear scares me. The fact that I am feeling fear, it's also causing me more fear. Yeah. I am fearing fear. Yeah, I know. And so it's like this, trying to push it away, try to not accept that it's there, And I feel like accepting that, oh, I am feeling this fear, it's like an easier way to work with it, an easier way to incorporate it into our experience, and then it's going to go. It's like we are always coming and going into and out of states all day, every day. So yeah, this state of fear is here right now, but it's not going to be forever. And so the ability to exist with that fear, I feel it's already such a win,
Because that is so good.
This acceptance of the fear is the first win, in my opinion. And then we can move into being fearless, right? And this week, in the beginning of the week, weekend or on Monday, I was watching a video about, I don't remember what it's called, being powerful, something about being powerful. And it was a video of a manifestation coach. I'm not sure if she's a coach, if she just creates content, but I was listening to her and she said something. It's in Spanish, and So I will share it in the comments or in the when I post it in Instagram, but it's in Spanish. So if you speak Spanish, you can go watch it. But she said something that really, when you hear something and that like it wakes you up, it moves you. And she was saying like the purpose of any spiritual teaching is, I'm paraphrasing, is making you feel powerful, is to make you realize that you're powerful, and as an automatic consequence of knowing that you're powerful, being fearless.
Wow.
And that was like, holy cow, it really, really, really moved me. Because it is true. When you recognize that you're powerful, you are automatically fearless because you know. And it's just, there is always the difference between the intellectual knowing and the actual inner knowing,
Yeah.
And when you really internalize the fact that you are powerful, when we internalize the fact that we are powerful, it's an automatic consequence to be fearless. Because we know that we are the only cause. We know that we are God. We know that that we are limitless. And then there is no reason to fear whatever is showing up in our reality, in our physical reality. And that really, really, really moved me. It really struck a chord within me, because I had, either before or after that, I had made an Instagram post saying that a master manifester is a master of himself. It's simply someone who can choose their thoughts and emotions freely. That's all that a master manifester is. It's not someone that can control their outer reality. It's someone who can actually control himself or herself and choose their thoughts and their emotions freely.
Ooh.
And I have been playing with this idea, especially in terms of the emotions, because the thoughts, I feel, are easier to play with, are easier to change, are easier to choose. But an emotion is something that is happening in your body. And you can change the thoughts, but sometimes what I feel, in me at least, is that the emotion running through my body remains. And I need to really go into a deep state of whatever state I want to go or move into for that emotion to go away. And when that emotion is fear, you were saying like, I can do revision, I can do, isn't it wonderful, I can do an imaginal scene, blah, 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 about the wish fulfilled, and the fear still there. And I have found that for me, what I need, what helps me is to just feel loved by God, to just feel that I am God, that I am powerful, but at the same time that my, Neville calls it the larger self, the dimensionally larger self, or you can call it a higher self, or you can call it God, but it's still you, that this dimensionally higher self or dimensionally larger self is just actually holding me, that God's got me, that this self who is me loves me and protects me, and that is soothing to me, and that helps me with this emotion of fear running through my body. That doing that is so much more helpful than trying to visualize or imagine the wish fulfilled, And so that's been something that I've been, playing with, in terms of this idea that, to me, the master manifestor is someone who can freely choose their emotions, not only thoughts, but also emotions. And I was like, okay,
God,
what
I love
do
that.
I do?
I think that's got to be the title of this. Master manifester, somebody who can freely choose their emotions. Because, I
Isn't
mean,
it?
my God, this is huge. This is huge because it's everything, feeling like a slave to your emotions.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so I've been playing with it, and I've been just, putting on hold the desires and just focusing on feeling this feeling of inner peace physically, and mentally, I feel like we are trained more into choosing our thoughts, we can.
forcing it being
Yeah.
so important. I
Yeah.
love what you said about shelving your desires for right now, because that's
Yeah.
exactly what I did when I'm like, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Exactly. And it's like less force and less of that feeling of I need to make this happen,
Yep.
and then going within, because it's always this invitation to go within. And that's what this lady inspired me. It's like, oh, go within, because how am I fearless?
Yeah.
By remembering who I am, by remembering that I am powerful, but also by remembering that whatever I manifest is an automatic consequence of my state. So my thoughts and emotions. So how can I master my thoughts and emotions, especially emotions? Because thoughts, I think we train it a lot, like we have heard of the mental diet and positive thinking or whatever you want. But paying attention to the emotions is so interesting, because I think it goes one step further. We can be repeating an affirmation all day long while at the same time feeling fear.
Yeah.
So how can I actually change that emotion, that sensation in my body? And so that's what I've been playing with. And like I was saying, imagine myself being held by my dimensionally higher self makes me feel soothed, makes me feel protected, makes me feel loved. And that is one way. Yeah, that's and then I feel like the way to be not to be powerful, we are, but to realize that we are powerful is accepting who we are, that we are God. But again, it's not something that can be just intellectual. It has to be internalized. And I think that the only way to internalize it is to experience it, like actually start paying attention. Like, what are you manifesting? Not only when you manifest something good that you want, but the things that you don't want, then look at yourself and say, what state am I in that manifested that?
Yeah.
Always turning within, because then even when you manifest the things that you don't want, if you look within and see, oh, this is a state, then of course that this manifested the way that it did, and then you start to recognize that it's always you, the good and the bad. So yeah, and what you were mentioning was, the self-observation, the three fundamentals, the definition of aim, and the detachment. But sometimes this self-observation and just playing with your inner state instead of thinking of the desire that you want to manifest, I feel is a less stressing way of playing with your inner state, because if you're trying to play with your inner state and trying to manifest something that makes you feel stressed, that makes you feel worried, that makes you feel scared, or that makes you feel that if you don't do it correctly, and if it doesn't happen instantly, then you are not a master manifester. There's this feeling of fear for one reason or another attached to that desire. So just letting go of that desire, waiting, like I'm not manifesting it, but I'm just like focusing on myself, and focusing on feeling this power and this fearlessness. And then when I'm like, oh, I'm feeling powerful. Okay, now let's approach this desire from knowing that I am powerful. And I feel that then it's so much easier to actually enter the feeling of the wishful field instead of entering the fear, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Look at you all on fire today.
I know, but it's been a week about talking and thinking and feeling into it, you know? Yeah.
Well, I love that, because I was thinking while you were saying that, I'm like, okay, what state was I in when this knee popped? What state was I in when I got the phone call from the person that totally is an old thing that just totally rocked my boat? And I'm like, don't rock my boat. And it's funny, and what they all have in common: force, forcing. I'm going to make this because this is important. These things over here where I can go, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's no big deal. Those aren't the big one. We give them this is the big one. This is the important one. This is need. I need this to work out. Yeah. So it's funny because that's huge, right? That is huge because, and and I saw that theme earlier this week. I was like, okay, what is the common denominator here of all this stuff that's arising in my reality? And I'm like, oh, it's need. It's I need this to work out. And it's like, oh, okay. I love what you're saying about, well, number one, I loved what, touching and seeing what state was I in when that happened. And the whole, the whole feeling powerful, because for me, what it is knowing that I'm only feeling that need. I'm only feeling that for a blip of my day. It might feel like it was my whole day, like my knee. But there are times where I'm busy and I don't, like right now, listening to you, I've totally forgot all about my knee. Totally forgot all about that sucker down there. It didn't hurt at all because I'm like listening to you and going, wow. And how many times does that happen throughout the day? So, for me, that's a very powerful memory, knowing is that this is going to happen right here, but you're going to get to the other side of this because you always do. And, it feels so wrong to see. We say, I don't know if you guys say this over there, but in America, we say put a pin in it. Means shelving it, just take that desire, that need, that, yeah, these are nice, these would be nice, but this I have to have. This is my whole life depends on this. Putting a pin in that feels wrong, right? It feels like that is not what I need to do. I hear what you're saying, but that's not what I need to do. I need to do something that's going to fix it. And there's that fearing the fear and just that merry-go-round, and realizing in that moment that, yeah, maybe I did that, but it's only for a blip, because in the next minute the phone's going to ring and I'm going to be busy doing something else or whatever. But I love this. I love that you are, that your dimensionally higher self or whatever, feeling that version of you, holding you, supporting you, going. See, for me, it's like that's KMFC. It's not an invisible somebody somewhere else that I don't. It's right here looking in the mirror, and it's such a powerful memory of going, oh yeah, would KMFC do this? And she's right there giving an answer immediately, going, no, no. And the brilliance that comes in on that, the brilliance of something I didn't think of, like when you just made the most calm, you just were like, would KMFC do that? And I'm like, why didn't I think of that? It seems so obvious. It seems so like right there. But why didn't I think of that? Who cares? You're thinking of it now, which is hell no, and it's just like, why wouldn't I play with hell no before? And so it's funny because this week with my knee and the other thing and that came up, there is this feeling of desperation, and fearing that desperation and going, I shouldn't be feeling desperation. It's just all this cycling stuff and just taking a moment to step out of that arena. And like with you, it's feeling held and you're powerful and all of that. And for me, it's just take a step out. Go ahead.
It's not only feeling held and all of that. Before that, I was, fuck this fear. I'm not feeling this anymore.
Now that sounds like KMFC.
That sounds KMFC. It's like, hey, hi. Yeah, remember me? But, it's the decision, it's a decision. Like, I'm feeling fear and I am done with it. I am not feeling it anymore. And if there is anything scary happening here, I don't care. I am not feeling fear anymore. Because this fear is inside of me.
You are so embodying, channeling KMFC there. Because what KMFC says is, this is my motherfucking reality.
Yeah.
That's the fuck it. And it's so funny. I wrote a whole thing on fuck it. Just fuck it. No. It's like, oh, what do I do? How do I fix this? Oh, okay, revise. Well, revise isn't working. And here comes KMFC going, fuck it. Come on, let's go over here and go do this. So simple. So easy. It's just, yeah.
And it's interesting.
Maybe that should be the title.
Not sure. I was receiving like notifications from Facebook and things like that, and it was about this. Someone saying like, I'm not wavering anymore. Fuck that shit. It's like, I am not feeling fear anymore. And that, I feel, is the first step, because you can be faced with challenging situations, but still the way you feel is your choice, Yeah. And sometimes it feels like, oh, I'm afraid and I have this feeling of fear and there's nothing I can do about it. And it's not true. And then when you are fed up, you are going to say, I'm not feeling that anymore. And that's what kind of happened for me. It was like, I'm not feeling this anymore. Doesn't matter what's happening. Doesn't matter what's in front of me. I'm not feeling it anymore because I don't like it. That's it. And so I started playing with this. Okay, how can I, play with the emotions and the thoughts? And then something else came out today. Where is it?
So just real quick, I know you're going to show that, but what's the state? What's the state of the person who isn't a slave to their emotions?
The state. I feel the word empowered comes to me right now. Empowered. But I feel it's also the master manifester, It's like, I choose my emotions.
Yeah. I love that master manifester. Yeah. I just like fearless. The fearless woman.
The fearless woman.
Yeah,
I like that. And something that I really loved, I follow on YouTube Brian Scott, from the Reality Revolution.
Yeah, he recently reached out to me, by the way, but keep going.
Oh my God. You didn't tell me. And he was posting something from a lecture, one of Neville's lectures, and Neville was saying, it takes no time, just the willingness to let go completely. And he's talking about the new state and the old state, and actually
it takes no time, just the willingness to let go completely. That's beautiful.
let go of the old state, you know?
There's
And
that bearing the old man.
Yeah. But burying the old man still makes me feel there is work involved, you know, like digging the grave, burning the man, and covering with the dirt, you know? There is this work, this process, while just letting go, it's like an instant.
Done.
You know, there is no work, there is no effort. It is a decision. And I feel that when I said, I'm not feeling this fear anymore, it was letting go, choosing to let go of the state where that fear exists. And I'm not dwelling in the state anymore. And that is a decision, you know? So that is why I always say decision, 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 because you can move from one state to another by just making the decision. And
I love that.
yeah, there is no
Well,
effort,
and I love
there's no time.
you're making a decree to your reality, saying it's this easy. And I love that. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Here you
It's
go.
not. Nice. A wise woman once said, "Fuck this shit," and she lives happily ever after. Yeah.
Ta-da!
That's exactly it.
Right? That's,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get much more simple than that.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's basically what we're saying here, you know? It's like, just let it go. Let it go.
Like that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the processes. So part of the 75 hard is, as Cynthia knows, I have to read 10 pages of a self-help book every day. Not self-help, self-improvement book every day. But to go into self-improvement is to say you're not perfect. But I am finding a lot of really fun, exciting, aha. And then I'm finding other ones where I'm like, oh fuck this, and toss it in the basket. So number one, by the way, if any of you have some books that you're like, oh, she should read this, put it in the comments. I'm loving it. And there really is a lot of what this is doing for me is it's sometimes I get so caught up in the spiritual to fix what I'm perceiving to be a problem, you know, that I forget there's the physical and there's the mental and there's the emotional. It's all part of KMFC's fun little playground. And so these books are kind of reminding me and they're bringing it in. And so it's amazing that all this stuff recently has arisen with my knee and the other stuff and everything. And to not put too much, you know, hugeness into it. And so remembering yesterday, oh, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, whatever. But I love this. I love this whole podcast's invitation to put a pin in it. And if that pin's got to be in it, you know, it's like, okay, I can put a pin in it, but just for a couple seconds, okay? You know, it's like.
But I just think that the moment you put a pin in it and you feel how it feels, then it's going to be more than a couple of seconds.
Right? It is the little fuck this shit. I mean, it's just the taking it off your shoulders. It's almost, it's not your job. You really want to take on another job? Why are you doing that? Stop that. Go paddle your canoe out in the lake. I'll take care of the problems. Go.
Yeah. And you know, something else is that since your whole life is a reflection of your inner state, the moment you allow yourself to stop feeling the fear for that particular problem, then your entire state changes. And maybe you are not particularly imagining something for that specific desire, but the fact that you allow yourself to enter a different state also takes care of that desire. If you allow yourself to go into the state of trust, state of peace, state of happiness, or whatever positive state that you like, then that takes care of everything in your life. You don't need to particularly worry yourself or particularly imagine one by one, all your desires. You can just go into a general state of well-being and happiness and trust. And that helps manifest whatever you are worrying about.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the fearless woman. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love that as a sub-state, but it just does. It feels like, oh, yeah, you know, she's not worried about it.
And I've been playing with it, you know.
Or
there was the fearless woman or men. I like listening to guided meditations, and I started listening to a new one on Wednesday, and it was a guided meditation with breath work. For no particular reason, I just wanted to try it out. And, you know, before going into the breath work part, he was guiding us into a little visualization, like a manifestation visualization. And then he started asking, how does it feel to be limitless? You know? And he would ask this question one and again and again. And I was like, at first I was like, what does that have to do with the breath work? But okay, you know, okay, fine. And then I started to feel into that question. How does it feel to be limitless? How does it feel to be limitless? And then this feeling of peace and calm within started showing up, you know? And that is also related to being fearless, because when you recognize yourself as limitless and as God and as the creator, then whatever situation you face, whatever shows up in front of you, you face it with the feeling of inner peace. And that, I feel, is such a treasure, you know? Just that experience of feeling peace throughout the day, no matter what's happening, is a treasure.
Yeah, feeling just that calm, no matter what shows up. Yeah. And definitely when this thing happened with my knee and stuff, I was in a much different state than I've ever experienced before, you know, as far as just a calmness. There's something amazing in here. I don't know what the hell it is, but there's something amazing in here. Come now. I don't want to wait. I want that amazing right now. And then, of course, right on the heels of that, I get the phone call from a person, and it just stirs up old stuff, and just like going, this is interesting. I don't know what's coming up and all of this, but whatever. I got too much stuff to worry about it. But I do love the invitations that constantly come up. I mean, constantly. And we've talked about this before, how if somebody like you, it's a video on a guided meditation, you know, here's this invitation to play in Limitless. And you're like, what the heck? What? But it's just an invitation. It's like, you want to feel limitless? You want to feel peaceful or what? And all you have to do is go, okay, let's try this. And invitations are always constantly all day long coming up for me. In various ways, in so many various weird ways, like you with your friend who had cancer, and you were the invitation to, you want to try something, you know, to make life easy. And she could have said yes, she could have said no, whatever. And that doesn't make her less of a master manifestor, doesn't make her less of a God. It's just play. It's a playground. And always remembering, it's just a playground. It's just a playground. You cannot stop existing. This is not going to affect your existence. This isn't going to affect your existence. Your existence continues and will continue forever and ever and ever. And it really brings this problem I must fix, down to, and it's, go ahead.
I remembered something when you were saying how you had this situation with your knee, and then this old state was arising and you saw it coming back, and then the call coming back as well from so long ago showing up. I remember when something happened in my reality that made me feel really sad, and how other bad things happen like soon after. And like I was saying, when you enter a state, a general state, it manifests automatically things that are according to that state, so that you don't have to be micromanaging your life. And so that is with the good, but also with the bad. So sometimes there's no so much questions to ask. There's not so many questions to ask about, like, why did this happen? It's just happened because I was in a shitty state. And so shitty things in general started happening in different areas of my life. So yeah, that kind of makes me think of that, like, okay, the thing with the knee happened, and then I was in this state, and then of course something shitty happened because I was in a shitty state,
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. I love that reminder right there. Thank you for that. Cause I need it. It's funny because I can immediately go, okay, what state do I prefer? What state? And now all these experiences start popping up of empowerment and feeling strong and feeling delight of, like, the wallet suddenly appearing, and and going, okay, what state was I in when that happened? And that was how I moved into the, if it happens, it happens. And then all of a sudden I'm walking around and I'm like going, oh, I'm walking normal. Wow. And now feeling the pull of the states, of, I got to hold on to this state. I got to hold. And just, and like you said in the very beginning of this video, the back, and there's the thumbs up. There's our confirmation from the universe. So I don't think you guys can see this on the video, but a lot of times when my hands are waving around, I get a little hand up here in this corner that's either a wave or it's a thumbs up. And a lot of times I say something and it just pops up. And so we always joke that that's a confirmation from the universe of going, exactly. Yeah. And it is so simple. It makes it so simple. There's the hug. There's the arms around you of, well, what state are you in? And what state would you rather be in? Because you have the memories of the other states, right? And the state of hoping, that the wallet was going to show up. But if it does, it doesn't. If it doesn't, it does. That ease of, well, it would be fun if it did. But if it doesn't, it's not going to make or break my world. And to have that arise and go, you want to, there's an invitation. You want to move into that state? It's a much more fun state than this state of, oh my God, what do I do? I can't afford to go to a doctor. What do I do? Nah, nah, nah. Yeah, I mean, that's an old state. And it's not good or bad or right or wrong or anything. Well, it's not a state I would say is good, but it's just so available right there for, you want to play here? You want to play here? Yeah, no, you remember something better? Cool, let's go there. And I love that in the beginning, you're like, these states push and pull and push and pull and push and pull all day long. You bebopping in and out. And that's the one thing that Abraham will talk about, is how you're in and out of the vortex. Don't get me started on that. That bullshit. Anyway, you're in and out of the vortex, and that's exactly it. You're in and out of states, and it's not, oh, you're less of a manifester if you're out of the vortex. Oh my God, you suck. Like I said, don't get me started on this.
Luckily, I don't know anything about it, so.
Oh, yay! Yay! Abraham, they love to talk about the vortex, because that's the space where everything is puppies and rainbows. There's where all your manifestations are coming. And if you're not in a good mood, you get out of the vortex. The vortex will just kick you right out. And, that was a very handy little example, I think, for at some point in my life. But very quickly I was like, no. No.
It's nice to feel good in general. I think we can all agree with that. But not feeling good does not mean that we cannot manifest what we want. And
it doesn't mean you're not a master manifester, like you said.
Not only it doesn't mean that you're not a master manifester, it doesn't even mean that the desire that you're trying to manifest is not going to manifest because you are feeling afraid that it's not going to manifest. And I have experienced that many times that I could be feeling afraid and it would manifest anyway. And one specific time that I remember that I think I had already experienced before, being afraid of, what if it doesn't manifest, and it still manifested. But that particular time, there was this one particular time when I was so triggered, afraid, like it was one of the things, the moments that I felt the worst in my life. And I said to myself, literally, I do not accept this. You handle it, because I do not accept this that is happening right now. And even though I was feeling the worst that I've not the worst, but almost the worst that I've ever felt in my life. So super, super triggered, and the negative thoughts running in my mind of fear and the worst possible scenario, blah, 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 blah. But I said to myself, I do not accept this. You take care of this, because I do not accept things in my life. Boom. Instantly, the conversation that I was having, and like the person I was talking to, like 180 instantly. So, of course, feeling nice is nice, but feeling bad does not mean that A, you're not a master manifestor, and B, that you're not going to get what you desire. So
and it doesn't mean you did anything wrong, because it's like you and I always say with the whole perfect place, perfect time, divine timing, whatever you want to call it. You can't sit here and say, oh, I'm always in divine timing. Oh, I'm always in the perfect time at the perfect place, or whatever. Oh, except when I'm feeling negative, then I'm not it's like, no, it's either or. It's black and white. It's like you're either always in the perfect place at the perfect time, having the perfect experience, even with the illusion that this sucks, or it's the other way around. You don't get to have both. And I get so many people that are like, well, no, you can have both. And I'm like, okay, you can play there, but I don't like playing there. I love playing in, okay, snap my knee. I have no idea how this energy serves me, but I sure know it does.
Exactly.
And don't know. I have no idea, but I know I'm going to look back on this and going, see, I told ya.
And that is a manifestation in and of itself, because we can give whatever meaning we want to anything that's happening. So we can give it the meaning that, oh my God, everything is lost, I'm not manifesting what I want. Or the meaning of, I don't know how, but this is perfect and it's taking me to where I want to go. And then it will.
Yes. Bridge of incidents.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then after that, then you decide, I'm not having a bad bridge anymore. From now on, all my bridges are blissful and wonderful and perfect and enjoyable.
Yes. And, all in all, this hasn't been bad. This is not, pain sucks, but again, it's like in my book called Living from the Gush. It's always a choice. It's always a choice. Yeah. But I really love, the state thing. Oh, what state was I in for that? And just a blip onto that state. Oh yeah, look at there I was. Okay, which one would I rather be in? Okay. And the whole fearless woman, that's such a, she's fun. She's fun.
She's great. I love it.
She's a fuck this shit.
I love it, because there is the fearless woman, but your version of the fearless woman and mine are different.
except for when you're channeling mine.
Except when Kristen MF card comes, so it's like, hey, hi there.
Yeah, I know. I love it when she does it to me too. Or, and it's so funny. This life is such a kick. It really is. It's just such, wow. I never stop with the wow. And I love that.
I was thinking about the situations that frighten us, and that sometimes, well, actually most of the time, it's like the situations that we are afraid that are going to unfold in a certain way, but they have not yet. We're just afraid that is what's going to happen. And again, this choosing not to worry about that, not to be that person, not to choose to think about that, but also is this just general decision of I'm not going to be afraid. And that's it.
Yeah, moving into that state.
Yeah.
And then being afraid that might not come true. No, and so what if it does? So what if all of a sudden you're in the fear again, and dang it, I'm not a master manifester. Dang it, I'm doing something wrong. Well, okay, that's only a state because you play there. What state would you rather be in? I'm going back over to the fearless one. I
actually love to see that as an opportunity, and I love to realize, oh, I'm feeling fear. Okay, this is an opportunity to train, my manifesting powers. Okay, I'm going to feel fearless. And how do I do it? And like, oh, am I still feeling fear? Yes, I'm still feeling fear. Okay, let's do this again. Or how can I get out of it? It's like a training session for my manifestation abilities, to be honest. And so looking at it that way is such a different way, it's like,
yeah,
an opportunity instead of, oh my God, I suck on manifesting. Like, no, like, oh, first of all, I am aware of my state. So that is a win. Second of all, I am in a way detaching. It's this game of I am seeing myself being afraid. So already you're detaching from the state, and like it's like this God self who can observe the state of the human, it's like already there is a detachment from I am feeling afraid to I am recognizing that I am feeling afraid. And then the next step is like, okay, let's bring the master manifestor in and get out of this, get out of this feeling, get out of this state. And I think that looking at it that way is like a very different way of looking at being afraid, or whatever negative state.
That's, and yeah, that was so good. That's so good, especially the awareness, and we've had that drilled into us, but yeah, man, the minute you're aware that you're acting a certain way there, yeah, you've already won at that point. It's like, oh, well, that's funny. Or, oh, why the hell did I do that?
But awareness is such an important thing, and
so huge.
Yeah, I don't hear as much people, because of course, when you manage to move into another state, that is of course a great win. But the win of realizing the state that you're in already, that is key, because then can you choose, like then your free will is unlocked, then you can choose to move. But if you are not even realizing the state that you're in, then you are there like lost, it's like you are unaware and you are just playing that automatic part. And then you stay there until you realize it, or until, like the automatic change of states that happens all day long, then you move into something else. But to actually do that consciously and freely, it can only happen when you are aware of the state that you're occupying. So to me, recognizing the win of being aware of the state that you're in, it's so important.
Oh, this was so good today.
Yeah.
And I needed this because, you know, it's so, God, I wish I could find a book that talks like we do. There would be a fun 10 pages a day book, you know? And it's like, I tell you, I've been going back and forth with Neville Goddard's books, and I'm like, no, that wasn't fun. I got to find a fun book to read. It'll show. But I needed this. I really did. Because there was the fear, despite everything I know and all that. Of course, there was the fear. And again, it always bring it back to you. Always, every time. That's your fix every single time. Bring it back to you. What state was I in when I did that? Oh, silly me. And you don't even have to ask yourself, well, what state would I rather be in? Because it just naturally arises. That awareness is such a state with that already built in. It's just the awareness already comes with all that magical fun and that powerful, fearless. It's already in there. Oh, this is powerful. This is a big knowing right now. This is an aha. That awareness comes with fearlessness. Fearlessness is already a manifestation within awareness. Ooh, that's our next podcast. Ooh. Yay. I love that. That was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So good. And once again, you guys, you can see how amazing a coach Cintia is. She really does. She has this very beautiful natural ability to know the answer you need. You know, it doesn't have to be this or that or whatever. She just has this natural ability of knowing exactly what words you need to hear, what feelings you need to hear. And she always delivers it in such a nanny, the whole nurturing. You just, that nurturing energy that you just do very naturally. It's like, oh, no, it's so easy. Little pat, this is it. All is well. All is good. See? And you going, oh, yeah, there was no problem there. I love it.
Thank you.
And she does do coaching. You can find all her information and her new website and all of that down below if you're in YouTube. And I don't know if Spotify brings up all our stuff, or Apple, but it is on Anchor too. I think they do. I think on our main page. Yeah, it's all there. It's all there.
So, or on Instagram, you can find it there.
Oh yeah, we're all over the place.
Yes.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. This was such a fabulous, powerful, powerful place. Ah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us, and see you next time.
See you next time, guys. Bye.